Hey folks, welcome back. This is our second cooking session attached to the Monster Gourmet campaign. Today we're going to be making stuffed phoenix. So if you are interested in making stuffed phoenix, you're going to need a few things. The first thing is goat cheese. Here we have 8 ounces of it. Cream cheese, a whole pound. Sriracha. Here I have 2 cloves of garlic and 4 teaspoons of minced fresh thyme, straight from the garden. Chicken breasts, or phoenix breasts if that's available in your area. Mayonnaise, Dijon mustard, lemon juice. To finish it, we'll also need breadcrumbs and some butter. We are going to mix up the stuffing for our stuffed phoenix. So the idea is that we will take these chicken breasts and wrap them around a delicious log of goat and cream cheese, and then put some stuff on top of it, and then bake it in the oven. Now, before we even start anything, I've prepared 2 glass baking dishes. These are just like regular old baking dishes. I've greased them, and I've got them sitting in my prep area ready to go. We'll start with the goat cheese. This has been sitting on the counter for a little bit, probably not as long as it should have been. I'll use the whole log. We're making a big batch today. If you were making a smaller batch for fewer people, you would use less of this stuff. Same thing with the cream cheese, the whole pound of it. Yeah. Next thing we'll add is our spices. So this is thyme and garlic. And the last thing is sriracha. So sriracha, we're going to do half a tablespoon for every chicken breast in our recipe. We've got 10 chicken breasts here. That means 5 tablespoons. So 5 tablespoons is a quarter of a cup plus 1 tablespoon. The only difference between phoenix meat and chicken meat is that phoenix meat is spicy. So omit the sriracha if you are not a big fan of sriracha. I, on the other hand, am a big fan of sriracha. And we're just gonna sort of work this in, and you should end up getting a really nice orange color out of it. You can just smell that. Smell the spices, the garlic, the thyme, and of course the spicy sriracha. Some bits of the cream cheese or of the goat cheese will sometimes form lumps, and you want to sort of ease those apart here. So when you're done, you should have a pretty thick mixture, right? Something that you could envision working with in sort of logs, because that's what we're going to be doing with it. Next, we're going to address the chicken. Now, these are chicken breasts, right? Standard thing that you would buy at the grocery store. I always try and go for as high of quality of meat as I possibly can. So whether that's like free range or organic or grass-fed, it does make a difference in how it tastes. You get what you pay for. And I'm always looking for somewhere between 6 to 8 ounces per breast. A lot of the more like hormone, like modern factory farm chicken that you'll find will have these enormous breasts. It'll be like a 12-ounce chicken breast. And that's just, like, first of all, that means that they're doing something weird to the chicken, because that is an abnormally large breast. And second of all, it's not going to cook very evenly. You want something thin that you can really work with. So 6 to 8 ounces is right about where you want per breast here. All right, so we're going to take 2 sheets of saran wrap. Put one down just on your cutting board. And then take a piece of chicken. Make sure it's trimmed, it's in pretty good shape. There's not any like weird fatty bits on it. Put it down. We'll take our second piece of cling wrap. Okay, and then go down and grab a little pot. You could, if you were so inclined, use a meat tenderizer for this, but I, being a 26-year-old who lives in a small apartment, do not own a meat tenderizer. Where would I put it? So I'm just going to use this little pot instead. The reason we use the saran wrap here is to keep the chicken from sticking to the pot or to the cutting board. That will make the outside of it all wacky and ooky. So now we tenderize. Now, the reason that we're doing this, we're trying to get it down to a 1/4 inch thickness, really uniform. And we're going to do that to all of them. That will help them cook more uniformly so that they can all spend the same amount of time in the oven. And it also gives us more surface area to work with when we're filling it with the filling and when we're putting stuff on top of it. Okay. Big gross pile of raw meat. Excellent. We gotta dry these puppies off. And then wash everything afterwards anyway. So the next step is assembly. So we're going to take our chicken that has been patted dry. We're going to salt and pepper it. And you want to start with the nice looking side up because that's going to be what we eventually have being the outside of it. So once you've gotten the outside, go and get the other side. Okay, so now that we've got that, you're going to work with about, or just less than 1/4 cup of a time of the filling. And just take it in your hands and go like this. Get all gross and ooky. So form it into a nice little log. I'm just going to wrap that up inside the chicken. And then take your chicken and put it into your waiting dish. You do want to make sure you give your chicken breasts plenty of space. They should not be touching each other. They should have lots of room to breathe because they'll release a lot of moisture and you don't want them to get soggy. Deposit. Beautiful. Look at that, would you? Now, this filling would be great on toast or maybe on a bagel, except for we can't be sure, based on the way we've handled it, that it's not contaminated with raw chicken stuff, and I don't want to get salmonella, so I'm not going to mess with that. So what we're going to do instead, we're going to take what's left here and add it to our topping, and it'll be absolutely delicious. So the way we make our topping, we take mayonnaise. So you may have noticed that this is mostly just fat and chicken in this recipe, true facts. So we're going to take our mayonnaise, a bit of Dijon mustard, and our lemon juice. I'll give it a nice tang, sort of set off all the other flavors we've got in here. Now, mix. And we're just going to spoon the one over the other. So each of these suckers gets a nice little blanket of more fat on top. We've got that mayonnaise sauce on the top of our chicken breasts, and we're ready to put them in the oven. The last step that we're going to need to do here is we'll take our breadcrumbs. This is about 3 slices of bread worth of breadcrumbs here. We're going to just sprinkle them over the top. They'll give it a nice, satisfying crunch texture to it. And these are fresh breadcrumbs, by the way. Same technique as we used in the previous video. Once we've sort of distributed, is we press them in. So now we're ready to go into the oven. Our oven has been preheating at 425 degrees. Make sure the dishes don't touch for about half an hour. And they'll come out, we'll let them rest for a few minutes, and then we'll dig in. And it should be delicious, right? We're talking about chicken wrapped around basically sriracha and cheese. Listen, there's nothing I love more in this world than sriracha and dairy products.